Hey guys, what's up? Today we got something interesting, a little bit special, maybe. We'll see what happens if it's special or not. These right here are the new Palmetto State Armory Dagger Micro 15 round magazines, all right? Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. All right, Palmetto State is, well, to me, they're known for making budget-minded quality stuff, in my mind. You can fight me on that if you want, but that's my opinion of it. So whenever I heard that they were coming out with the Dagger Micro, I got really excited. And then when I heard that their Micro was going to have flush fit for them OEM 15 round magazines, I got really excited. All right, this is that magazine. All right, the magazines for me, well, not for me, the magazines came out earlier than the gun itself. I don't think the gun itself has been released. I really don't think so. I've been on that site pretty much every day since they have announced that the Dagger Micro is coming out, and I can see slides going for sale. I can see the magazines. They have these ones that have a black, I think it's micro slick, I think is what the coating is. They also have like a nickel plated one, but the guns themselves are unobtainium. I cannot find the frames. I cannot find the actual firearm itself sold as a whole piece. I'm not sure they've released it yet, so I'm still waiting on that, so I haven't tested it. But the magazines got me really excited. All right, let's take a little bit of a closer look at this guy. As you can see, hopefully you can see, I might just take some pictures depending on how the sun is shining. As you can see, we got 15 rounds in here. All right, and this is interesting because it's kind of half metal, half polymer. Right, the back portion back here is metal, it's steel, it's magnetic. The front portion here, I'm not sure exactly, polymer, plastic, whatever they want to call it, but it's a plasticky kind of material. One thing I am interested to see how long it lasts is the interface between the plastic and the metal. I don't know if it's just glue, I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure how the heat and the cold is going to affect this and how long these guys will last, but it will be interesting. Because I know, like, regular Glock magazines have a steel insert surrounded by a plastic polymer coating, basically. S15s, which I still carry, use my S15s. Yes, I still use them, like them, they work for me. This is all steel, right? It has a plastic floor plate, or whatever you call it, but the magazine itself is all steel. So these are an interesting hybrid. The benefit that I see to this is that these do not need some extra special $25, $50 magazine release. Since the plastic polymer portion up here is where the magazine interfaces, which it is ambi, by the way, you can use your OEM magazine release. So that's interesting stuff. In theory, it's very interesting. And also the spring, I'll show some pictures and stuff later. The spring is weird, it's different. So they've done something different to these magazines, all right? Which is awesome. I think it's cool, and I'm hoping it's gonna pay off. So we got a couple different Glock 48s. This is the one that has a different trigger in it. This has an OEM magazine release, Suarez International Slide, all this stuff. This guy here is pretty much, well, he was bone stock. I take that back. He's not bone stock anymore. He has a Tyrant Designs metal magazine release, okay? And then I just stippled some of the grip and stuff. This is an original 43X frame, right? Original internals, no special trigger or nothing like that, with a 48 MOS slide. So we're gonna see this guy specifically. He has a, I believe it's aluminum. I'll have to check that. But a Tyrant Designs metal magazine release and an OEM polymer magazine release. We're going to try both of these. We're not going to shoot a whole bunch today, but we're going to start a test. We're going to see how this thing goes. We'll see if it can cycle through the ammo just perfectly fine. Maybe we'll sprinkle a little bit of dirt in it. This nasty sand that's full of who knows what, because everybody just treats this place like a dump. Don't treat your ranges like a dump. That's just a side note. But we'll see how it goes, and this will just be a part one of however many until hopefully we get some seriously qualitative time with these magazines, and hopefully they work. I'm trying to jinx it. That's what I'm trying to do. So anyway, without further ado, let's shoot some bullets. One thing I will say, loading these magazines, I mean, it is granted these are 15 round magazines and they're brand spanking new. They are kind of a bear to load, and I didn't have my Maglula or Uplula with me. Not sure where exactly that is. He finds himself into different places. But yeah, very stiff, but it's a brand new magazine, brand new springs. I'm not super concerned about that. With that being said, on a closed slide, empty gun, closed slide, it went in. I was going to say they didn't like to go in. Well, it didn't like to go in earlier, but there you go. He's in there now. Is he actually in? Yeah, he's in. And you can note on the bottom on that floor plate, you got some nice grippies, right? Some angle things that if you needed to rip this guy out, if he was just going to come out, then he should just come out right there. So anyway, that's that. iPro, and then we'll shoot. All right, first shots, here we go. Will he load? Yes, he will. All right, here we go. And he held open just like he's supposed to do. One thing I will note is these guys have some positive ejection. I mean, at least they did earlier. It's a definite ejection. There's no issue with these guys accidentally sticking in the gun and not working properly. With that metal magazine release, this is from one usage. Not sure how that's going to show up, but from one usage, I'm not seeing a whole bunch of issues. That's just one cycle through, okay? So that is a Tire Designs magazine release. Let's try an OEM. All right, so same thing. Here we go. On a empty gun, closed slide, magazine goes in. Seat's perfectly fine. Does he load? Yes, he loads. And on steel, here we go. He held open, he ejected. There you go. So there you go. That's a complete test. There we go. They're 100% reliable and they're great. If I stop the test right there, then that's what we can say, because 100% reliability. They loaded, they cycled, they fired. You can take that to the bank. No, that's just one iteration. We got one more magazine. Actually, one more magazine, and I have my 43X. Let's try that one. All right, so this one will be interesting. This is my 43X MOS technical. Well, not even, I don't know what you want to call it. It's the MOS frame, right? So there's that iteration. And this has the premium Shield Arms steel magazine release. So this guy seats in there fine, gets in there just fine. And this is my carry gun, so this better dang work, because if everything works right, hopefully this would be one that I would actually use. Here we go. He did not lock back. So for whatever that's worth, he did not lock back. Uh-oh. Push magazine release, he doesn't want to come out. Now, this is interesting. I'm glad he came out. I'm glad he came out, because if you remember, I think it's these ones. I think it is. If you try to use OEM magazines with a premium Shield Arms magazine release, it gets stuck. You get a hard stuck magazine, he will not work. They'll go in, but it basically turns into a California compliant gun. This is interesting. I did not notice that, and I'm glad they actually come out. Yeah, just barely. So I would have to change my magazine release if I was going to utilize these as an actual carry option, which I might do, depending on how well they actually work and everything. I have no problems with my Shield mags. I don't. I think they work fine. There's a couple of them that didn't work fine, so I don't use those ones. But these ones, no, they seem to be fine. You can tell, though, well, you kind of can. This is the one with the premium magazine release. I don't know if we can see that or not. But the marring, scratching on it, whatever you want to call it, versus the Tire Designs magazine release. Man, I want to say, yeah, a little bit. The magazine release from Shield Arms, the Shield Arms premium magazine release, it does have a little bit more marring over the one that had the Tire Designs magazine release. Both of those are metal. Both of those have marring. So you're going to have to be careful. If you use steel magazine or metal magazine releases on polymer magazines, metal on plastic doesn't go very well together. So try to use plastic on plastic. Case in point, the polymer one, right, with the OEM magazine release, that's basically nothing going on there. That guy's perfectly fine. So that's just a little interesting thing. That actually would end up saving you money, right? If you had these magazines, which they cost about 30 bucks. I think that's pretty much the same as your Shield magazines, but you don't need to buy a fancy-dancy extra magazine release. And it will work perfectly fine with your OEM magazines. pros and cons, guys. Pros and cons. Let's load up a little bit more, and let's just shoot these guys one more time. Man, those guys definitely give you a workout loading the magazines to full capacity. I will say the second go-around was ever so slightly easier. So I think that the springs will break in or wear in, however that's supposed to go. A note on that, whenever I put these guys away, I'm going to end up loading them up just to kind of help get everything compressed and like maybe break it in while it just sits there. I don't think that's a thing. I'm sure somebody's going to tell me how compression is just over time, compressing and relaxing, compressing, relaxing. It's not just keeping it compressed. Somebody's going to tell me that, and that's okay. Kudos to you for knowing that stuff. So here we go. We're going to do this one more time. We'll do a different target. And it's not about targets and it's not about hits, but it is kind of fun to try that stuff. Here is the 48 with the Tyrant Designs magazine release. Get that guy in there. See if it closes. That's a good thing. All right, so here we go. Let's shoot this piece of steel here. See if we can make a fool of ourselves. And you probably can't see anything. Yeah, there we go. Yep, here we go. Let's make sure it works. All right, not so much caring about the group. We did have the gun lock open, the slide lock open. We have nice dropping of the magazine. Works perfectly fine. All right, we're trying to jinx it. If I keep saying it works great, I'm trying to make something break. OEM magazine release with the, Kaplan Manufacturing, there we go, Kaplan Manufacturing slide. So here we go on steel. I'm gonna turn my dot up. Good grief, I can't see that thing. There we go. Is there dirt in there? Something. Anyway, there you go. He's fine. Drops free. Perfectly. Ooh, see, that's that positive ejection I was talking about. It's got a nice positive ejection. Maybe that's really with the OEM magazine release. But that's the OEM magazine release. Works good. Last, and hopefully not least, here is my 43X MOS with the Shield Arms. Ooh, yeah, you can see it now. Yeah, now you can see it. This is the Shield Arms Premium Magazine release. Check that out. Can you see that? My glasses off. I can actually see the camera with the camera sees. Yeah, you see that? How the magazine release is popping up? Not supposed to really do that. Woo! He's stuck in there. He is stuck in there. All right, well, let's see if he'll shoot. All right. Do you see that? Careful how I hold this thing. The magazine release is popping up. Ain't supposed to do that. Here we go on steel. Held open that time, but oh, he came out. He did come out, but he doesn't drop free. 100% does not drop free. Nope, because that magazine release just holds on tighter. Because on the S15s, you need that. On OEMs, you can't have it. This premium magazine release from Shield Arms will not work with an OEM magazine. With these guys, he's working. He's doing his job. They're not falling out, so I mean that's a positive. All right, guys, so that's just kind of a little break-in, a little first-round look-see at these guys. It's interesting to see what works and what doesn't work. The Tyrant Designs magazine release worked perfectly fine. It didn't leave any super aggressive marring marks. I mean, there was a little bit of markage going on, but not a whole lot. It was fine. OEM magazine release worked great. That's the one that I think will work the best over time because it's polymer on polymer. It's just going to work. You get that nice, positive, solid ejection of the magazine. No stickiness. It's working great. The one that it has slight problems is the Shield Arms Premium magazine release. This is a specifically designed magazine release for the S15 magazines, which require a more aggressive magazine release, right? Does that make sense? A more aggressive latch, right? To where if you use an OEM magazine and stuck it in here, in essence, it locks the gun up. You have an internally locked up magazine where you basically have to use tools to get this thing out. You don't have to do that with these PSA micro magazines. You don't have to do that, and he locks in there, Problem is, as I kind of showed on there, your magazine release is not fully engaging, or at least it doesn't look like it, because it's not fully locking in. Does that make sense? That makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, because the magazine release, you push the button in, and it's supposed to lock in and kind of with spring tension be pushed back out. Does that make sense? Well, it's not pushing all the way back out. It's locking the magazine in. He definitely is in there and does not want to come out. So I don't think he's going to accidentally be like falling out, but he's not going to drop free. So if I was going to actually carry these and use these in this particular gun, it's going to have this magazine release changed out, which is not necessarily a knock on anything. It's just saying what works and what doesn't work, which is kind of what we're doing. We're kind of trying to see right now what works and what doesn't work, because I don't want to break these things. I mean, I could just take a hammer and break them. That's stupid. That's kind of a dumb analogy. I'm trying to see what works, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so that's all we're going to do today. I'm not going to do a bunch of torture tests and stuff to these. I think that's what will be next, though. I don't know. I want to do that with the shield, or not shield, with the Dagger Micro with the pistol. But man, I don't know when that's coming out. They don't talk to me. I'm not on their radar. They don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on their side of things. But I really would like to try that whole torture test kind of thing, the same kind of thing we did with the S15s. I'd like to do that with these magazines, because I think that there's something here. I think they got something going on. Yeah, I'll take some pictures of that spring. It's kind of interesting. I'll show you what the internals look like. It is pretty interesting. One thing to note, and I noticed this the same whenever I did my my S15 magazines. The original S15s that I had, the coating on it was not as nice as the ones that they have now, and it rubbed off pretty quick, all right? And then at the time I was in Alabama, super hot, super humid, just basically walk outside and everything rusts immediately, especially with body sweat and everything. And so I took my S15 magazines, some of them, and I micro-slicked them, right? Some Cerakote micro-slick, and that worked pretty good. That itself wore off a little bit over time. These, I think this is what, I think that's what I think these are micro-slicked. Now I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell with the sun the way it is and everything. I'm already getting wear marks through the micro-slick, and I've used these twice each magazine. So that's not super impressive. I do know they have a second version of these already. That is, I think it's nickel plated. It's like a silver color. I think it's nickel plated. That would probably be the way to go. They didn't have those whenever I bought these. And then a week later, they were like, hey, guess what else we have? And I'm like, great, that's wonderful, fantastic, but I already bought these. So that would probably be the way to go. That's the way to go with the S15 magazines too. So anyway, guys, that is it. That's it for the video today. If you got any questions about these magazines, let me know. I think I have some other magazine releases. I think I'm gonna have to check. I think I got a couple different magazine releases that I'll try out, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do the torture test kind of stuff. It's really stupid. Torture tests are stupid, all right? Because nobody, unless you're like in the Sahara in a sandstorm, you're not gonna get buried up in sand and grit. The thing that I'm trying to see whenever I do these tests, right, or these upcoming tests for the sand and crap, is just to see, can the gun or the magazine continue to work under just ignorantly based tests, conditions, right? If it can work through those, then it can pretty much surely handle your belly button lint, right? Because that's really what most people got to worry about, is just belly button lint and rust and sweat. That's really what tests should be centered around, because that's really what they are utilized for. Unless you're a competition guy and you're dropping your magazines in the ground, and I don't think anybody's going to be using these magazines for competition. But anyway, that's it. We'll save all that stuff for other videos. If you got questions, let me know. If you want to follow us on our other platforms that we do post the same stuff to, we're on Rumble, we're on Gunstreamer. We post stuff to Instagram. If you want to follow us over there in those places, I would appreciate it. That'd be awesome. Also, big shout out, big thank you to our Patreon guys. We got a handful of guys over there, and I'm very appreciative for everything they do, help and support the channel. Even though it's just $1 or $5, just whatever tier you happen to be in. It really, it's an encouragement to me to know that people are willing to input, not just watching a video and commenting, but willing to give something, even if it's just a little bit. It shows me that there's people out there that are appreciative of the stuff that we do here, and that is awesome. That means a lot to me. So thank you guys for the folks that do that, and if you want to consider that that's on you, you do you. We also got merch and stuff down below if you want to check that stuff out. That's another way to support us if you want to. That's it. That's it. I gotta somehow or other pay for college for my kids someday. Someday, if they grow up and actually graduate high school, that'd be great. All right, that's it. You guys be good, be safe. Appreciate you guys watching, subscribing, and everything. That's it. I'm out of here. Y'all be good, and we already said that, and I'm done. See ya.